Hey folks, Rob here with another Real Deal in the Field, out with Nathan at Tuggerah for a site that he's currently got under contract. Hasn't yet settled on it. Settles in January, is that correct, mate?
Yes, mate.
So firstly, what's the buy price?
2.1.
2.1. Mate, for this piece of shit. Like it's an asbestos shack. What's going on? What makes this such a worthwhile investment?
It's special. 2.1 is just for the dog kennel at the back, not the main house. Yeah,
okay.
Main house is more. But no, mate, it's a cracking spot. Location-wise, everything's here. Everything you can possibly want. We've got a business park here to the east. We've got a major train station there. That's now being converted into a major bus interchange as well for public transport. We've got an industrial estate to the north. And we've got an Olympic training centre to the east. We've got the beach 20 minutes away as well. We've got the M1 freeway, which is about 2-minute drive to the west behind us. And we've got Westfield Shopping Centre, which is a major shopping centre. Of course, we all know Westfield Shopping Centre.
And we're going to go and actually have a look at the site in a little bit more detail. What we're showing you here is just really the frontage, guys. But when you actually see what's out there, there's a little bit of a reveal and you kind of see where the potential is.
Yeah.
So next door neighbour is also Westfield. So basically you're in the centre of everything actually happening.
Yep.
There's a helicopter flying above, guys. Police helicopter. They're coming after Nathan right now.
This is a great area. Fantastic.
So low crime.
Yeah. The squad crew is flying, coming down.
But basically, we're in a cracking spot. That's what you're saying. Like,
correct.
I guess when we have a look at it in really low detail. So we're going to take a moment to just pause the camera. We're going to go out the back, show you what's actually out there, and you'll kind of see all of the potential. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be there in 30 seconds. So here we are at the back of the property. We're actually about 2/3 of the way down. So what you're just seeing is the remaining back half of the site. How big's the site?
3,000 square metres. Just under,
3,000 square metres and zoned...
R1, which is...
Zone R1. So you just get some houses on it, right?
Yes, townies, flat, apartments. We've got a height limit of 9, but yeah.
So what we're going to try and squeeze on here is 34 apartments, okay? And that's largely because of a whole bunch of things, but proximity to the Westfield that we can see just over there. You can see the big W sign and a couple of other things. Right next door, you can see all these trees here. That's actually owned by Westfield as well.
Correct.
So the adjacency of this is actually really, really close.
Yeah.
Now, at the 34 apartments process, we were just talking about this before, that's about a 15% return, yeah?
At 34, you're more towards around 25. But if we've got a few issues that we need to overcome with the trees, once we do, then we can actually increase that yield, get more apartments, and probably more likely, probably more towards the 40%.
Very good. So between 25 and 40%, if we can solve a couple of challenges with the trees. So let's talk about what these challenges with the trees are. So firstly, because of the proximity to where we are, we have to have a fire distance from there. That impacts the yield that you can actually get on site if you don't quite get that.
Yep.
So that has the potential to bring it down to 34 apartments.
Yep.
If you can... I guess.
Probably less than 34. But yeah, if we can overcome those tree issues, then absolutely we can get more than 34. We can potentially, depending on how we go next door, we can actually go up higher as well.
So might even get to 42 apartments and potentially even add another level onto the project, which then just sends the profits through the roof. Now, that sounds like an insurmountable challenge, but I guess the key thing is that you guys have based it on the bottom line. So if you can't solve the tree problem, then it's still a profitable deal.
Yeah.
Right?
In fact, we originally had a massing diagram done as a part of our due diligence. And a part of that, we had more than 34. And we didn't know this, but when we went to a pre-lodgement meeting, then the council had said that they want an RMS setback, which is they're going to expand the road up on the Pacific Highway, which impacted our yield, but still, it was still profitable and we still pushed ahead.
Very good. So, so there's actually 2 street frontage here. So RMS, for those of you who aren't in New South Wales, that's the main roads department. So there is a main road at the front, and there's also rear access at the back. So I guess quite accessible. There's also a laneway just beside us here. You may see the occasional person go walking past while we're doing the recording. So really, really central here. But the key point to this, I think, is you've gone for what you know is certainty.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a problem in there that if it can be solved, then picks up the profitability.
Correct,
at the tail.
yeah.
Now, why are you so confident that you can do something with the trees?
It's more so I've researched a lot on this site. We quite extensively have done the due diligence on this site, and so it's just a matter of redesigning the design in order to cater for those trees. And it's still okay with the feasibility. We're still okay to push forward, but we do have an overarching strategy in order to increase the yield at a later date.
Yeah, and that overarching strategy, folks, it's key on the fact that who owns next door and what their long-term intent is on the site. So who owns next door is Westfield. So Westfield are clearly going to be doing something very large on the site. They're going through a process of actually rezoning next door. And so Westfield will be solving the tree problem for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so there's just a timing issue to try and put into place here as to whether or not you lock in, I guess, what is known certainty.
That's right.
Or whether or not you kind of roll the dice on time and then pick up the upside, yeah?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So for any of you out there that have issues and challenges and that sort of thing on your site, make sure you do your research on what your neighbours are doing, okay?
Yeah.
Because what your neighbours are doing can greatly impact your capability to actually get that uplift on the site.
That's a good point, because we thought we had done all the research possible and we didn't foresee that. So
yeah,
it was left field, definitely.
Oh, I'm sure it was definitely a part of the plan, mate. It was definitely part of the plan.
My learning plan, yeah.
So, mate, give our viewers some tips and tricks when you're trying to take on projects like this. What are some of the things that they'd be looking for? Yeah,
just straight up, some of the basics is the fall of the site, locality. If it is on a main road, you may have to allow for a traffic impact report, or may have issues with access as well. And you may have issues with construction as well. You may need to do tiger tails on the power lines or something like that. So it's about broadening your understanding as much as possible to what could potentially impact. Are there services, dual access? The council originally said that they didn't want us actually accessing both sides because they didn't want anyone, doing shortcuts. But then they changed their mind throughout the DA and wanted the waste management the garbage bin truck to go all the way through and not having to turn around. So that's just little things like that. The APZ, we thought we had enough distance.
Yeah. So APZ is Asset Protection Zone. So that's code, folks.
Yeah.
So that is the trees, right, and the fact that those trees are actually protected. So making sure that we have the appropriate distance from those.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, miscellaneous things like allow for asbestos, just for even potentially your ecology report if you've got some endangered species on your property, and you may need to do a ecology report on surrounding properties as well. Yep. Keep that in mind too, especially if you're going to put an APZ in place. Yep. Asset Protection Zone.
Asset Protection Zone, absolutely. Mate, project-wise, this deal number 5, deal number 6, like where are we at? So your trajectory is going pretty well.
Yes, yeah, mate, going well. It depends are we including duplex deals as well?
What we want to do is we want to let people know to say, look, you can start small and start to scale.
Yeah.
And so what's been your timeline, your trajectory to try and get to here?
I did a lot of land acquisitions, and I did quite well. And I still do quite well out of that. So I still find that as a part of my strategy for chunk deals and for getting capital. But I've now kind of, considering the market, it's a little bit fickle. I'm but still hot at the same time. So I'm more doing a duplex strategy now. So quicker, in, out, and done and dusted. Bank the profits and move on. But I'm still also looking at project sizes of this size. I'm doing 15 townhouses at Warnervale, which we're going to have a look as well. I believe so. But yeah, so this one's probably the biggest one on the cards at the moment.
So for everyone to decode that, is doing some smaller deals that are quick, easy, get in and out. That's
less
some
risk.
Less risk. That's I guess the cash flow requirements that then allow these larger type deals, so that if there are time blowouts and if there are, how long is it going to take to solve the tree problems and that sort of thing, you've actually got the cash flow to actually make sure that you can ride that tail and maximise the outcome of this. So that's probably the big lesson for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Mate, I want to say thank you very much for sharing your deal with us. Been a pleasure. Can't wait to see the full version of the real deal when it's all in its illustrious glory. So until then, folks, we're actually going to go out and have a look at another one of Nathan's deals in a sec. So until then, we'll see you on the next Real Deal. Bye for now.